Good day. My name is Michael Shackleton. I sit on the board of World Speech Day South Africa, and I'm also a distinguished Toastmaster. Maggie Kuhn famously said, "Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes." I have my own story to share with you as to why really allowing a step-by-step process to occur in my life, whereby my voice was ultimately unleashed, I have been turned into a person able uniquely to speak on behalf of others. I have been in every sphere of government in South Africa. I was a city councillor in the city of Tshwane. I was a member of parliament, and I'm now a member of the Gauteng provincial legislature, where I speak and issue media statements predominantly in the area of community safety. I'm also an attorney. An attorney and a politician are uniquely qualified to speak on behalf of others, of those marginalized, of those disadvantaged. But it wasn't always this way, you see. My father died without a cent to his name shortly before I began high school because of a disease he was facing. He was fighting cancer. My mother died in my first year at university, where I was studying law, also without a cent to her name whatsoever in this world, as she died of heart failure. After my mother passed away, I developed a very serious stutter, as I was very uncertain of my place in the world, and in fact if I would be sleeping on the street. I worked in the night staff in the local exclusive books, and I threw myself into getting involved in many societies on the University of Pretoria campus to enhance my CV still further. In 2011, I applied to be a city councillor. However, this too was unsuccessful because of my stutter. I joined Toastmasters. Although I am speaking on behalf of World Speech Day South Africa, I think it is important to indicate that people can allow themselves to enter into processes, align themselves with people, whether you want to be a successful business person, you want to be a model, you want to be a swimmer, you want to be a soccer player, align yourself with people on the same journey as you, and you will ultimately succeed. I was able to beat my stutter to a significant extent that I then became a city councillor in 2014, a member of parliament in 2018, and a member of the legislature in 2019. I also became an attorney 1 month before I became a city councillor. We all have truths to speak. As I stand here before you now, not to get too political, but I'm sure we all have our own views on the Russia versus Ukraine crisis taking place in Europe that many feel could escalate into a world war. Many of us, the world over, we do have solutions, but we are too scared to raise our voices, to speak up, to get involved in organizations across society, whether it's in business, whether it's in political parties, to ensure that we are staking our claim in our society. It has been said that people that have the most doubts, those are the ones that are the most intelligent, but at the same time they're the most silent. Whilst leaders around the world and here in Africa that are the most vocal, and in fact leading societies and countries, that these are arguably the most foolish, the people with the biggest voices. And this has to be turned around now. It has to be transformed. Here in South Africa, we face the highest youth unemployment in the world. Something has to change. We can no longer sit back, even if we are fearful, even if our voices do shake, even if we are scared of there being some sort of objection to things we say or people rising up against us. We have to come up with solutions together. Africa is in a leadership crisis. It has been accurately established that most presidents in Africa are in fact pensioners, whilst most of the population of Africa are below 35. If you look at these, really, people aren't being adequately represented. Obviously, we need a generational mix in our society in all areas. Old people have value to add. Young people have value to add. Middle-aged people have value to add. People of all races, people that are male and female, that are transsexual. Everyone has value to add. And I think that's an important thing to realize when it comes to making your voice heard. We all have unique experiences. You might come from Hammanskraal, from Mamelodi, from Cape Town, from Nigeria, from Australia. Not quite the planet Mars yet, but you might come from France, Brazil, America. And all of us have our own unique experiences which we can lean on to jointly come up with the solutions that our society most desperately needs. I urge you to not be fearful to raise your voice, to get involved in society, to get involved in non-governmental organizations. If you see a role that you are scared to apply for it anyway. Richard Branson says that there is no right time to start a new project. There is no right time to claim a leadership position. Barack Obama famously said, and I'm paraphrasing here, there is no one coming to save us. This is our time. In essence, we have to speak up. We have to step in. We have to shape up, because we are the generation that will ultimately decide where this country is headed, where the future of our world is headed. We face violent conflict. We face rising prices. We face massive unemployment. We face very serious uncertainty, climate change, all of these things, even potentially a coming skills crisis in our country in the next generation, because unemployment is so high at this point in time. And we have to say no more to the status quo. I think especially as young people and as anyone alive at this point in history, we can either see the time in which we live as a tumultuous era in which we sit back and are afraid, or we can see it as a great opportunity to stand up, leap up out of our chairs, get involved, say the right things, and ultimately do the right things. You can upskill yourselves through a variety of organizations, through getting mentors, through essentially sticking around the type of people that you want to be, through reading books, watching shows. There's always YouTube to learn, maybe whether it's about business, politics. There's always the internet if you want to reach out to business leaders to mentor you. It doesn't have to be business. There's NGO leaders here in World Speech Day, South Africa. I can really go on and on, but it has been said that essentially the top 10 or so people that you spend the most time with, that's a reflection of who you yourself are and where you are headed in this life. I hope that I've been able to impart a message to you, a bit of inspiration, that no matter where you come from, no matter who you are, no matter your economic background, no matter your racial background, your religious background, no matter the doubts that you may have in yourself, even if you fear that you lack the skills or educational background to step forward, do everything that you can to step forward to make a difference, because ultimately every mortal is responsible for their own destiny. Everyone started out at having zero skills on the day that they were born, having zero knowledge. I myself stuttered. Today I am speaking to you. You are understanding what I'm saying. And I've given speeches in front of the deputy president of this country, just to use one example. We can go from zero to hero. We can stake our claim, free our voices,